We got some people who are ready to take questions, so I'm going to cede the floor to them.
Awesome.
Step on up, folks.
Lynx Dynasty Podcast, thank you. And Candace Hoopus, which is also a cool site. Thanks, Neil. Appreciate it. Yes.
Hey.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. So I'm kind of part fan, part journalist myself, covering the whole League for the Victory Press, which is a site about women's sports and the intersectionality and all that. So there are a few of us media members here. My question is, and since you've been so passionate about wanting more coverage, what is one thing that you want us to do better or to do in general regarding the Lynx, regarding the WNBA in general?
Well, and I think, for me, I try to include all women's sports, and so obviously, WNBA is, my daily thought process, but I think it's for all women's sports. What I would like every media outlet to do, big, small, in between, is treat the women exactly the same as the men when it comes to sports. Think about it the same way, put the same resources into it. I just would like to see what would happen because we are rising quickly. It's just sort of a trajectory. It's very upward. And that is without the support. You all, the places that you work, you probably could tell us stories right now about things that you've wanted to do that somebody said, no, we're not doing that. It's women. People don't care about it, right? And that's unfortunate. And so I would love to see what happens. So we're growing at that rate in a near media blackout. 4% is a near media blackout. And so can you imagine if we were covered exactly the same way, the interest? And there's so many people that say, you can't force it on us. Well, you can force men's sports on me. If I'm at 96% of the coverage, why do you matter more than me? No, I happen to love all sports. So I just, for me, it's what is a single thing you could do is cover it the same, with the same energy and passion.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks
again.
for being here.
Great
Yeah, we appreciate your support.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thanks.
Come right up.
Thanks. I study public opinion on gender equality, and things are changing, so that's good. I had a similar question. Were there any surprises around Whalen's retirement in the coverage this time, either by national media or state media as well, in terms of equity of coverage?
And maybe, Jim, you might know more, but, Minnesota, I had no doubt that they were going to cover it the way that they did, with her being such an icon in this state. So I know locally it was covered exactly as I thought it would be. Nationally, I didn't pay attention as much. I haven't been on the TV as much, but I did see, NBA TV, had some stuff. I had a statement from our league president. I think one of the cool things that happened to Lindsay Whalen the other day when she announced her retirement, Naismith called and asked for, I believe, a jersey to be able to, and that really rocked Lindsay. Like, oh, are you kidding me? And so I think that it's been pretty big. I don't know, Jim, maybe, that you would know more, but I know the amount of effort and passion and interest that went into, this press conference and all of the stories that have subsequently been written so well, so many great stories. You all have been covering Lindsay a lot longer than I've been around her. I could tell from you all how much you all love Lindsay and the story that she has been for this state. I don't know. You can speak to that, Jim. Whether you found the coverage in other situations to be, the same or greater.
I thought she was covered appropriately. I think it's a huge deal in this state, region, whatever you want to say, and so
that sounds like a buzzword to me.
Which one?
Appropriately.
It's actually not.
What exactly does that mean?
It's not a good word.
Appropriate. That's very subjective.
If I were writing, I would not use that word. It was the first word that came to mind. So let me edit myself. I guess I wasn't surprised by the coverage either way. I didn't think it was more than. It wasn't more than I expected. It wasn't less than I expected. Yeah. It was the way I thought it should be. So I thought it was about right, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Nationally, I don't know that it made the impact that we would expect it to be, having watched Lindsay all these years. And I think what I can add to this conversation is, I know people in the WNBA front office, and I know people, I obviously know journalists around the country. Minnesota's unique when it comes to WNBA coverage. I'm not saying we do enough. I think we could do more. But there are good WNBA teams that barely get covered,
right,
including the Los Angeles Sparks, barely get covered in Los Angeles. So I'm not sure a player of Lindsay's caliber retiring in another WNBA city would have gotten the right amount of coverage.
Right. Yeah, that's why I say that that's that the standard should be us, and that's why I find it so important that what we're doing, that we don't go, compare ourselves to lesser markets that aren't doing enough. We want to be the standard by which everyone else follows, and that's why I appreciate the passion that our media covers the Lynx. And while it's not equal, or what I think equitable, it is something that I think that we should hold ourselves to that. One of the things I found about living here is I love the progressive nature. This has been a great home, a great match for myself and my family, and I always want to be pushing for more, and I want the people around us to want that same, whether it's our players, whether it's our media, whatever it is, our front office. So I think that's really, really important. I have a question, if you would, on the public opinion as it pertains to gender equality. I would love to hear some of the numbers. You have latest studies?
Yeah, actually we have a really massive study of 10 to 19-year-olds on sexism, gender equality, and I was thinking about Shelly because actually the study's not going to be, it's going to be released in a few weeks. I think the New York Times is going to break it, but what's correlated with girls playing with princesses versus girls playing with Legos, what's correlated with boys playing with guns versus boys playing with Legos, and there's just a ton there, but I'd say, so girls who play with Legos, and I think this would translate to books as well, that aren't, the gender stereotypical, they're more likely to put importance on having a successful career. Boys who play with gender-neutral toys are more likely to call themselves a feminist. They're less likely to feel pressure to be violent, all types of things. But yeah, I would say in the last few years, we've seen a big difference, even in the general population, of saying that sexism is a problem, saying that I want more women in political office, and ever since the 2016 election. So
wow.
a lot is going on right now on gender.
That's
I'm
great.
happy to say Ollie likes Legos. I'm happy to say.
Yeah, that's good. and that's where the story's going for me, is that, whether it's internally in a media organization or externally from you're pushing for more coverage, not just because you want to see your name in print.
That's exactly right.
You're pushing for more coverage because our society needs to be more equitable and more balanced and more fair. And it's, as we see everywhere around us, we need more women involved in politics in high levels of our society, of our commerce, and we need more people of color, and things got to change.
That's exactly right.
Do you have a question? Hi.
Hi, Coach Reeve.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Really good.
I'm one of the admins in the Lynx Army on Facebook.
Okay.
And my friends Debbie and Lisa are here with me. They're sitting up there, but
hi, Debbie and Lisa.
They took me to one game, 2016, and I became a season member. I just renewed for my third year.
Thank you for doing that.
I think you play. I have such respect for how hard you go for your team. We actually traveled to Chicago, and we sat behind the bench this year, and I saw your passion, your heart, and I'm just like, whoa. And then they actually went to Vegas, and Los Angeles and saw the Sparks. They were right behind too, and we're such super fans. And I just wanted to say, I wanted to ask you, with all the emotions and things you deal with, because I saw your podcast with Lindsay when you were crying, and I cried with you. And you have such a love for them. I know you have Ollie, that's your son, but it's almost like they're your daughters as well.
Yeah, it's a family.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you, how do you deal with that? And then, with them having their losses, sometimes I still love them, I don't care.
Right.
How do you deal with the public opinion and not take it to heart? How is that daily?
Not very well sometimes. No, I always find myself just, like you said, just as you would of your family, I feel very protective of our group because I know what they're putting into it. So I don't like, things to be said about them that I know not to be true, but I also understand that goes with the territory. And I've asked them many, many, many times to tune out, kind of the external. because so many people don't know, what they put into this thing and how hard it is to be a Minnesota Lynx player through our time of, trying to fulfill very, very high expectations. And so, I think at the end of the day, just it's like anything, know who you want to be. Don't let anybody change or alter that course. Put everything you have into it, and great things will happen. No, you're not going to win every game. That's, like I said, we're a passionate group. We don't lose well. So it's like a family. You catch us on some days, it's like none of us, it's like some days in your families, you can't stand your sister, your brother, your auntie, whatever it is. But you know that you love each other and that you're down for each other and you'll do anything for each other. That's the core of what we have, and that's what makes this thing so darn special. And then, you just mentioned our fans traveling. We've had so much fun this year on the road. We've walked out sometimes, and we don't know. We know our family requests and friends that our own group has. There's many times we've walked out on the road to a lot of Lynx fans and loud and cheering. And it's so uplifting. And I always take a moment to try to tell our players that, again, the love. It's because of what they've done and how they do it, how they treat each other, how they play this game. And Vegas recently, we walked out. We couldn't believe how many people. I guess Vegas is a fun destination, for our fans to go. But it was so uplifting for us. And so, I think, like I said, it's a family, and the fans are an extension of our family. So we're appreciative. And yes, we go through ups and downs. But just like everyone in your own lives, it's how you handle adversity. Sometimes you handle it well, sometimes you don't. You move on to the next day and do the best you can. There's some days when I'm saying just put one foot in front of the other, and just keep moving. And because sometimes it's hard. Like I said, the ups and downs. But I think overall, when you have the base of what you have is genuine love for each other, you're going to be okay. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Did you have a question? Tell you what, one more live question. I want to thank everybody for being here. Thanks to the Freehouse for hosting us. Thanks to Shelly Boyan-Breen and the Shelly Bean, the Sports Queen Sports Books. Gloria Ramsey, Successful Marketing Group, successfulmarketinggroup.com, and Neil Olstad of the Lynx Dynasty and Canis Hoopus. Thanks to Cheryl for always being such a great sport, and everybody who showed up tonight. Fire away.
First, I have a comment. It was great to see you at the All-Star game, kicking back, having a beer, not pacing the court.
You saw that, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, there's Cheryl having a good time like I have a good time at the game. So that was great. My question is, I think 2 weeks ago, the New York Times had an article about Griner and Taurasi. Did you see that?
Refresh my memory.
Taurasi no longer takes long twos. Her job is to take three-pointers and pull Griner out to take long twos. So do you think, last year you really emphasized the three ball. Do you think that that's, in addition to more points, less contact, easier transition, do you think that's something that's going to become more common?
I think it already has. I think that, it became a concern of ours after the 2016 season in that we were playing against a team in the LA Sparks that in the finals that we were concerned, can we make enough twos? Because that's who we've been. If you look at our team, the pull-up jumper, there's a number of players in the league that are able to make that mid-range shot. Atlanta has quite a few of them now. But it became a concern of ours because the game began to change. And so that's why, we put an increased emphasis on more players taking more threes. Ultimately, the analytics show that, and I could show you, we keep shots by zone.
And they took that off the Lynx app this season.
They took it off? And you don't like that, huh? We should put that back. So we have shots by zone. So we have every single player in the league, and we have a shot chart. We do a field goal percentage by distance, but then also I like a visual. I want to see that a player shoots 19% on this side or 32%, and so it helps us with our scouting efforts, and it also helps our own individual players to know what their strengths are and where they should take shots. Ultimately, I think that, the Houston Rockets are the best example. They went, steroids on the analytics of, 3 balls and layups. And so we even code our video by shot distance. So I can go through and go, give me all the 1 to 5 shots. Give me all the, the 20, 24 and beyond. And it's really telling of a team. What you oftentimes see is 1 to 5, and then the 3-pointer, and you don't. And so then down the line now is the mid range, and so it is catching hold. If you shoot from mid range, say 17 feet, and you shoot 34% from there, you might as well shoot a 3. And so that's just become the corner 3 is the highest percentage